Hello, I'm back and today I am bearing it all. Well, my version of bearing it all, so I am going to go completely barefaced. I'll be doing a foundation routine, pretty much my full face routine from start to finish. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like underneath all of this makeup with all of my scars and acne, so please don't be scared. It'll all turn out good in the end, and if you just hang out 1 second, I'll be right back with my naked face for you. Also, please ignore this bum thumb that I have in the nasty band-aid. This is what happens when you slam your finger in the door of an Uber. So if my hand looks a little weird, or if you're wondering what the heck happened to her finger, you don't want to know what it looks like underneath of it. Trust me. Okay, so this is my face without any makeup. You can see it clearly. I break out in this general area. It's a lot of hormonal acne. My face has definitely been better than this, and my face has definitely been worse than this, but this is the one face I get, so I just make it work. Right now I have nothing on my face. I have eyelash extensions, so it probably looks like I have mascara on, but I don't. Right now I just have my Aveeno face lotion that I talked about in my skincare video. I have a little bit of my One Love Organics eye cream that I talked about in my skincare video as well on, and then I went ahead and put my primer on so that I didn't have to do that in this video either. But I am a oil slick, and I've been on the search for a good primer that I really like. And I went through a couple. I liked the Fenty Beauty one quite a bit, but then I found this Becca primer, and I love this. It is the Ever Matte primer, and you just put a little bit in your hands and you warm it up, and then you pat it into your skin, and I find that it's really been helping with controlling my oil throughout the day. So I do have this on, and then let's jump into my foundation. So I switch between two foundations, either the Fenty Beauty or the Laura Mercier Silk Cream. I did get the oil-free Silk Cream because, again, I am an oil slick. So today for this video, I'm going to do the Silk Cream foundation. So what I do is I just shake a little bit up. If you see me looking over here, it's a mirror because last time I did a makeup video, the viewfinder was really hard. So I usually just put a little bit on the back of my hand. And most of the brushes that I'm using today are from Morphe or Morphe, whatever it is. This is the M439. It is by far my favorite foundation brush to use. And I've used this now for, I don't know, maybe a couple years since it came out. This is my third one. So what I do is I just load up the brush from my hand, and then I start stippling the foundation on. And I'll go a little bit down onto my neck just to make sure that it blends and you don't have like any distinct lines. I'm going to do half of my face so that you can kind of see from foundation alone the coverage I get. And I do like a fuller coverage foundation personally, but that is because, as you can see, I do have redness and scarring on my face. So okay, so that is kind of the level of foundation that I'll put on. I don't like to pack it on over and over and over because I don't want it to be cakey and gross looking as the oils in my face start working. So we'll go ahead and do the other side. After I do my foundation, I always have to, well, after I do my full face, I have to clean off my, didn't mean to flip you off, my nose ring, because it'll get makeup packed in it. So I kind of take a lot of time to do the stippling. I just want to make sure it's really warmed and blended into my skin. And I'm not putting necessarily more product on, I'm just making sure that the foundation is really blended. Okay, so that is with foundation alone. And then next, I'm going to move on to concealer, and this is the Tarte concealer that I talked about in my makeup favorites. It's the Shape Tape. I still haven't found a concealer I like more than this, so I do the same thing with putting just a swipe of this on the back of my hand. And then I actually come in with a little fluffy eyeshadow brush because I feel like this precisely gets it underneath my eyes. And this is just to add a little bit of brightness down here. Not that I have like dark circles necessarily, but I do like just a pop of light under here. It makes you a little bit more awake. So I'll put it in here, and then I'll also go a little bit underneath my eyebrow. Okay, and that's, you can see one eye versus the other. And then I also like to take this smaller brush and get around my nose. So I'll do like around my nose rings just because it's hard to get that giant foundation brush in there. So I'll come in here and make sure I cover all of this. Same with this side. And then as far as concealing to like highlight, I really don't go beyond under my eye and under my brow bone. But what I will do is come back with the foundation brush that I was using to do kind of a spot conceal over any of my scarred areas or active breakouts, which happen to be more and more recently. So I'll just come through into the area where you could clearly see all of my breakouts and scarring. And I just use whatever is left on the back of my hand to kind of put another layer on. And I feel like this just does like that last little bit of coverage that I need over my breakout. Okay, so now I'm done with my foundation and my concealer, so we're going to do a little bit of setting powder before I move on to bronzing. So I still love the Laura Mercier translucent powder. That's what I'll be using today. So I generally just take off the cap, and then I have a little fluffy concentrated Morphe brush that I just dip into the powder and spin around in the lid, and I pat underneath my eye. So I pretty much put this anywhere that I've put that concealer, and this just makes sure that it sets and doesn't get creasy throughout the day. So we'll go under this eye. And then I also like to put this in a little bit more concentrated fashion where I've put that concealer. So around my nose and over any of those troubled areas. Okay. And since I have some left in the lid, I'll put a little on my forehead. Okay, so now that we've set everywhere that we've put our concealer, heavier bits of foundation, we'll move on. I do, because I am a very full coverage person, put a little layer of powder over areas where I get oily. And this just helps throughout the day to make the shine not so extreme. So I do the Studio Fix powder. Yes, I know that this is also a powder foundation, so technically I'm putting a foundation on foundation, but I use a really big fluffy brush and I just grab a little bit of it and put some all over my face. And then you also want to blend down into your neck. So now I am a white sheet, pretty much like a giant marshmallow. So we're going to put some warmth and color into my skin now. And I like to use the Marc Jacobs bronzer. It's this giant bronzing palette in Tantric. I would open it and show you, but I broke the center, so it's all crumbly. But this is in my makeup favorites when it was full, so you can see the entire pan if you want to go back and watch that. But we'll open this very carefully. And then I have another Morphe or Morph, whatever, fluffy brush that I used to put this bronzer on. So we're just going to load a little bit onto the brush. And then I just pull my hair back. James calls that my bronzer face. But we just come in here and I warm along the hairline, into the cheek, and down under the jaw. And the great thing, if I could speak, about this bronzer is that you can really layer it on, and it takes a lot to get too much. So that's just kind of one layer of warmth, and you can see versus this. So we're gonna load the brush again. And we'll come into this side. And you always want to get up here a little bit on your forehead, pretty much anywhere that the sun would naturally hit. And we'll bring it down under your jaw as well. Okay. And then what I like to do is put some on my chin, and I'll go down my nose. And then right now I really haven't put any more product on the brush. I'm just blending. So same with like how when you do your eye makeup, you want to blend and blend and blend. You want to do the same thing for your face makeup too. You don't want anything to be a harsh, weird line. So we're just gonna make sure that it's all really blended. Okay, so I think that's enough bronzer. And you can see that it's really just added a touch of warmth, so I don't look as flat and as, I call it a marshmallow, or the Michelin Man, but it just looks a little bit warmer. So then we're gonna move on to contour, but I don't really consider this contouring because I don't go completely crazy and do like my nose and everything. I just do a little bit in the cheekbone area, and I use the Makeup Forever like little palette color. You can pick whichever color you want in it, and I just liked this color because it wasn't warm and it wasn't cool. It was just kind of right in the middle. I have another more fresh that is wow. I have another more fresh that is slanted that I use, and that's just so I can get a nice line here under my cheekbone. So I'll put a little bit on this brush, and then you kind of want to just make the darkest spot closest to your hairline, and then you just blend. Same way that you did your bronzer. Just making sure that you have no harsh line. We'll do the same over here. Darkest part being closest to our hairline. And then this you can also work up into your forehead, tip of your nose, under your chin. Kind of make it look a little bit slimmer without doing like the extreme contouring. Just give your face a little bit of the definition that you need or would want. I guess you don't need anything. Your face is beautiful the way it is. Okay, so now we've done our bronzering, little bit of contour, and then I like to do my highlight next, and then I do my blush very last. So for my highlight, I'm going to use the Becca Pressed Powder Highlight. I love these. I've used them for a couple of years now. And then I use just a flat, small Morph brush. Put a little bit on there, tap off any excess, and then you're just gonna come up and put it in your cheekbone. And I give a generous amount. We'll do the same to this side. And then I like to do just a small bit down the center of my nose. And then I take a smaller blending eyeshadow brush and dip into that same palette. I'll do a little bit underneath my eyebrow. And then I also do a little bit here in the corner of my eye. And I feel like it just makes you look a little bit more awake and bright. Okay, so now we can move on to blush, which is the last like actual colored product we're gonna put on our face. So I have another Morph brush. I seriously love these brushes more than any other brush line that I found, including MAC. I just find them to be really soft and they're very inexpensive, but yet good quality. So this is just a MAC blush that I've been into recently. I'll tap a little bit onto my brush and then I'd smile or fake smile, whatever, and come in to the apple of my cheek. And I'll lay the color there and then I blend it up and out. I'm never really good with blush. I either put too much on or too little on, or I put it in the wrong spot. I don't know. I'm not a professional, but we'll do the same to this. We'll put the color right there on the apple and blend it up. Okay, so that just kind of warmed the cheek area. Sometimes if I go too crazy with my blush or my bronzer or something, I'll come back in with my clean fluffy brush and make sure that I didn't go too far down anywhere or too crazy. So now that we have all of the product on, I would clean off my nose ring because I'm sure there's plenty of makeup on it. I like to just brush out my eyebrows if I'm not going to do eyebrows. Like, this is what I would wear to work. So I'm going to brush out my eyebrows because these guys are long. And then I'm going to spray a little bit of my Urban Decay setting spray, which is the De-Slick one, so it's good for oily skin. I'll just do a couple of sprays of this. And then I let that dry for a second. Alright, of course we have to brush out our eyelashes to get any powder off of those, so and I just got my lashes done by Lana, so they look really nice and full right now. And you can still see like the texture of my acne definitely underneath the makeup, but it covers the color really nicely and it stays all day long. So right now it looks like I have new lipstick on or something, but that's just the foundation and powder. So I take a wash rag and then I just wipe it off. So my lips are back, and then I end it with a little bit of my Lip Lux chapstick. All right, and that would be my final look. This is my go-to foundation routine. This is what I do kind of on a daily basis. When my skin is in really good shape, I don't put a lot of makeup on, but this is my general routine that I do right now when my skin is acting up a bit. But I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or anything like that about this routine, please let me know, or if you have any suggestions or favorite products, I'd love to hear about them. So leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed these videos, and I hope to be posting more frequently, so I will see you guys around.